Problem 33, trucking on. So, once again, so just for those of you tuning in, this is part 3 of a 3-video series on two-step, what is it called? Two-step problems, two-step linear equations. So once again, when you're looking at these things, the first thing you want to do is you want to put everything that you know on one side and everything you don't know on the other. So we know what minus 6 is. We know what minus 5 is. We have no clue what r over 8 is. So I'm going to move this bugger over here. So minus 6, you would have to add 6 to get rid of it. Minus 5, you have to add 6 because you did that on one side. You have to do it on the other, right? That's why I did the dotted line. And the result is r over 8 equals minus 5 plus 6 equals 1. Now, to get rid of this, remember, if I take 16 and I divide by 4, that'll equal 4. If I want to bring it back to 16, I will have to multiply by 4. So I divided by 4 and I multiplied by 4 and I got to the exact same place. So I'm assuming I'm starting at r. I divide by 8. I'm going to have to multiply by 8 to get back to r. I want r. So multiply by 8. Multiply by 8. So 8 times r equals 8r over 8. Right? This is really 8 over 1. So 8 times r and 1 times 8. That's the result. So 8 divided by 8, we cross that out. We're left with r. 1 times 8 equals 8. And the answer is 8. I got that one right too. 34. Minus 80 equals 4x minus 28. So we divide the equation. So this is what we know. And this is what we don't know. We want to get what we know on one side and what we don't know on the other. So here we're going to add 28 and here we're going to add 28. So this becomes 0 minus 80 plus 28 equals 52 minus 52. All right, and then we have the 4x here. Now, anytime we multiply, so for example, if I do 3 times 6 equals 18. If I want to go back to that 3, I have to divide by 6, right? So 3 times 6 to get 18, and 18 divided by 6 to get to 3. So I multiplied x by 4 to get to 4x. I'm going to divide by 4 to get back to x. And that's what we do. So this crosses out, we get the x here. Equals minus 52 divided by 4 equals minus 13. Is that the right answer? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Muy macho, I like it. 35 minus 40 equals 4n minus 32. Split this up. This is what we don't know, so we have to get all this stuff on the side. We have to get all the stuff we know on one side. So minus 32 becomes plus 32, right? We have to add 32 to cancel that, and we have to add 32 to this side also. Minus 40 plus 32 equals 8. Minus 8, actually. Equals 4 over n. 4 over n is really 4 times n. If we divide by 4, both sides, we're left with n. And negative 8 divided by 4 equals negative 2. That is the good answer. 36. 33 equals 3b plus 3. That's a weird 3, huh? How about I erase that? 36 equals 33 equals 3b plus 3. All right, they're trying to confuse us here by putting only 3's, you know? And we see the problem, we're like, what do I do? Well, what do you always do? Separate the problem at the equal sign. Get the stuff you know on one side. Get the stuff you don't know on the other. We do not know what 3b is. We know what this guy is. We know what this guy is. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this plus 3 by doing minus 3 and minus 3 here. 3b. 33 minus 3 equals 30. All right, so 3b, how do we get rid of that 3? Well, we divide by 3. And if you multiplied b by 3, to get rid of it, you divide by 3. And that equals, b equals 10. 37. 87 equals 3 minus 7v. So, we don't know what this is. We know what this is. We know what this is. We're going to get rid of this 3 and put it on the other side by subtracting 3 on this side, subtracting 3 on this side. This cancels out. This becomes 84 equals minus 7v. Once again, minus 7 times v. You have to get rid of that negative 7. You have to divide by negative 7, right? If you divide by 7, you're going to get minus v as a result, right? Because that negative divided by a positive equals a negative. So that would be negative 1 times v, which would be negative v. We don't want negative v. We want a positive letter, a positive variable. So minus 7 divided by minus 7 equals 1 times v. So we're going to divide by negative 7, that's a v. 84 divided by negative 7, I believe is minus 12. I'm not sure. Yes, it is. That's what it is. 38, we're almost done. 3x minus 3 equals negative 3. Once again, they're trying to blitz you with all the same numbers to confuse you, to make you lose your cool. Divide the problem right here. Remember, it's a two-step problem. We put what we know on one side. We know what this is. We know what this is. So I'm going to add 3 here. I'm going to add 3 here. And once again, the trickiness comes in. This becomes 0. This becomes 0. We're left with 3x equals 0. So if you want to think about it, what can you multiply something so that the product will always be 0, right? If I take 3x or 90x or 1x, if I want it to equal 0, I will always, anything multiplied by 0 is 0, right? So x becomes 0. And if you want to think about it more logically, you have here 3 times x. Let's get rid of it, right? By dividing both sides by 3. So you have x equals 0 over 3. Well, 0 parts of something is 0. X equals 0. 39 minus x plus 1 equals minus 11. All right, so once again, separate. The plus 2 becomes minus 1, right? We want to get rid of that plus 1, so we're going to subtract 1. And we're going to subtract 1 on this side also. So we have minus x, this cancels out, equals minus 11 minus 1 equals minus 12. Look at how tricky this is. This is negative x. How do you get rid of negative x? Well, you can multiply by negative 1. That's one way of getting rid of that, right? Because a negative 1 times negative x will equal x. Or you can divide by negative 1 also. Take your pick. So let's multiply this minus x by negative 1 equals negative 12 times negative 1, and we're left with x equals 12, right? Negative 12 times negative 1 equals 12. Negative 1 times negative x equals x. That's a confusing one, actually, yeah. But that's the way it is. 40. 4 plus a over 3 equals 1. Once again, dividing the equation. This bugger right here is, we have no clue what that is. This one here we do, this one here we do. That's a 4 and that's a 1. So we put everything we know on one side, so we got to get rid of this 4. Minus 4, right? That's the opposite of 4. And here we have to do minus 4 also. So this crosses out. So we're left with a over 3. Looks like a 9, but it's an a. Equals 1 minus 4 equals minus 3. So we took a here, we divided by 3. How do we get back to a? We multiply by 3. So 3 times a over 3, right? 3 over 1 times a over 3. That's what really 3 is, right? It's 3 over 1. So when you do it, you get 3a over 3, and you can cross this out and you get a equals, and we're dividing by 3 here also. Actually, are we dividing? No, we're multiplying. I'm sorry, we're multiplying by 3, and we get a equals -9, right? -3 times 3 equals -9. Is that the right answer? Yes, it is. And let's check. Let's check this to see if it works. 4 plus a over 3 equals 1. 4 plus -9 over 3 equals 1. 4 plus -9 divided by 3 equals -3 equals 1. 4 plus -3 equals 1, and that equals 1. That works. You can always check your answer. So that is that. Next one is solving linear equations like a boss. Is that what they're saying here? Whoops. Yeah. So that's what we'll do next time, and I'm gonna prepare my lecture for that one and post it as soon as it's done.